The gaming world is in a state of upheaval right now. Millions of gamers are flocking to older games, and this could be detrimental to AAA studios. So let's talk about it. Before we can talk about what AAA studios can learn, we have to examine what is actually happening to these older games. From what I have observed, there are two main games that are at least 10 years old, gaining millions of players, and yet they teach a very different lesson. The biggest and most recent example of a massive player count surge is Call of Duty Black Ops 2, with Gamer Rants reporting that servers have around 5 million players weekly. This may seem completely random, however, there is a big reason for the sudden rise in player count, and it's because Black Ops 2 was recently re released on PlayStation 5. Even though it may seem like the jump is only because of the re release, in reality, it is not. People have recently been fed up with the newer installments of the Call of Duty series. It seems like every time a new COD drops, the price tag increases, but the quality decreases. With a huge drop in sales for the latest COD, which is Black Ops 7, but with an even higher price tag on it, which is around $70, it has started to seem like these new game releases are just a pitiful attempt at a cash grab. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 has had huge success on its initial launch in 2013, and it being widely considered the best COD game ever, combined with the ever-decreasing quality of Call of Duty games, perfectly concocted a recipe for this re-release on PlayStation to go mega viral. Due to AAA studios mass-producing games like the newer COD games, we have seen budget cuts and layoffs throughout the industry. A recent study from GDC, State of the Game Industry, reported, quote, over 1 in 4, or 28%, survey respondents were laid off in the past 2 years, increasing to 1/3, or 33%, for those in the United States. Half said their current or most recent employer has conducted layoffs in the past 12 months. Not to mention games shutting down like Highguard and many stopping development like the Prince of Persia remake. It seems like more and more gamers are getting sick and tired of the slop AAA studios have been producing, and it shows. Second thing AAA studios can learn is to use passion when making games. Currently, indie game support and popularity are at an all-time high right now. With many indie games having an ever-growing player base, the biggest takeaway is that people notice when you put care and thought into a game experience. Indie games have been produced with a creativity and passion, and people love to play these games and historically love them. We see trends all the time where a studio makes an amazing game and a big AAA studio picks them up and forces them to milk the game series out. One big example of this is the Skylanders series. A massive first game, and then the more games they produced with less thoughtful content in them, the less popular Skylanders got. Gamers are not as stupid as these AAA studios make us out to be, and we can tell when a product is rushed. Which brings me to my third lesson. Don't push out games that aren't finished. We can see this with the huge review bomb of Overwatch 2 on release because it was severely rushed in its development, and they decided to release it unfinished, and they even had to scrap the PvE mode. The fourth thing AAA studios need to learn is that consistent updates to a well-made game will almost always be better than a bad sequel. There's another game that is 9 years older than Black Ops 2 that has doubled the size of their player count from 2020, and that game is World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, or WoW for short, has been around since 2004, and for some reason now has around the same player count it did as in 2013. So, does it have the same reasons as Black Ops 2 for having such a resurgence? No. In fact, it has not been re-uploaded anywhere, so what caused this massive player spike? It was an update. The content of the update does not matter, but the fact that there was an update shows you something very important. Maintaining a game will almost always be better than making new ones. WoW has spiked its player count due to continual updates throughout its lifespan, and it has kept the game from dying. The same can be said with Fortnite. Fortnite has been around for so long, we keep getting new content from them every few months, and it has allowed the game to become one of the biggest and most successful games ever. However, there is a difference between good updates and extensions and bad ones. When an update or add-on has little to no new or good content and is also locked behind a paywall, it will kill a game so fast. We can see this with Destiny 2. We are all sad to see it go, yet they brought it upon themselves. With lackluster updates with poor quality, with a price tag of $35, people began to stop playing the game. AAA studios can take notes from a game called Risk of Rain 2. They have had updates on the game that are locked behind a paywall, however, they add enough good content to the game that is well worth the price, and they've built up a cult-like following on this, and for a good reason. The fifth and final thing AAA studios need to learn is to stop using AI in the making of their games. A recent survey from GDC, State of the Game Industry, reports that Over half, or 52%, think generative AI is negatively impacting game development. Yet also from the survey, quote, survey results indicate that over 1/3, or 36%, of game industry professionals are using generative AI tools as part of their job. Gamers are already impacted with the ever increasing RAM prices, and now we use AI to help develop these games. It's like a slap in the face. Most gamers do not want to see AI generated artworks in the game. Most gamers don't want to play games with AI generated code. We can see modern AAA studios moving in a bad direction despite having the biggest capital in the gaming market. They need to start studying the older games and also the little guys of the gaming world to pull ideas and hopefully improve their game studios. I hate to see all of these really cool games stop being developed. So, to get the player counts back and also their profits, they need to learn how to adapt. And maybe, just maybe, we'll finally get the Prince of Persia remake. Thank you for watching my video.